Hi, sluts. Hello. When I first started Saint Slut and when I was visualizing this identity of mine, I had wrote 16 essays that I think aligned with the thoughts of Saint Slut and who this person is. And so I knew that eventually I'd have to start writing again for this project of mine. And in the interim of since I started posting on February 14th, I have definitely been experiencing different emotions than the ones that I had originally associated with this content idea of mine. There's new writing coming. It's coming from a different angle, different thoughts and feelings, and kind of just more reflections. I think that sex is a reflection of ourselves, and I think that the way we experience it and the feelings and emotions that we pull from our sexuality is artistic in and of itself. All of this is to say that I posted the 16th essay today. I think actually I posted all but one of the 16 essays because, like I was saying, I wrote these like 6 months ago. At this point it's been 6 months, so I just feel like some of the feelings that I was expressing in my essays I don't really resonate with anymore, which maybe isn't necessarily which doesn't necessarily mean that they should never see the light of day, but there's just some that I want to workshop and kind of expand on from a different point of view. If you take a look at my page, you'll see that I definitely do not have 16 podcasts. I found that some of my writing just wasn't worth a podcast. But yeah. So this is the last of the original Saint Slit thoughts. So I think that from here forward it's going to be sort of like a new chapter, maybe the end of season 1. What's to come? I don't know. I haven't been able to really focus on that, but still allowing my thoughts to flow, and here we are. This week, I had someone tell me that I need to change the subject matter of my podcast. That was really disheartening for me because it has taken a lot of thought to come up with this idea. This is my brainchild. I went through 9 months of gestation to come up with this idea and years of depression. So I don't know if you know this about me, but previously, I was a fashion designer. I had a clothing line, and who I was such a creative 19-year-old. I would design a collection from like beginning to finish, make it myself, make the inventory. And eventually it evolved into just me reselling vintage, which was a lot of fun too. And at some point I stopped working. That's a whole other, maybe this story will come in season 2 of Saint Slut. But after my clothing line stopped working, I was really depressed and I had to figure out who I was and what my identity was, what my purpose was. I think 2024, I was like the big question for me is, what is my purpose? And this is what I came up with. So somebody told me that I need to change the topics that I speak about on Saint Slut, which, especially if you're a creative person, I think that that what inspires you and what flows out of you in terms of what you're creating is, it's not really up to you. This is just happens to be Sex just happens to be what I'm inspired by, and I know that a lot of my listeners know that about me, that the topic that I talk about is not only sex. It's not exclusively sex. It's feelings, it's love, it's lust, it's all the colors that paint this world and make it beautiful. So being told that, frustrating at first. I think that was like the first time that I cried in a long time, but it's honestly just it's pushed me deeper into the arms of Saint Slat. I think if somebody is telling you, like, if you're walking down a path and there's somebody there saying, don't go this way, don't go this way, honestly, like, for me, I want to keep walking. I want to see what's there for me. So first season concluded, and just really happy and with everything that's come with it, and happy that you're here and you're watching. This episode, I don't really have a ton to say about this, but I'm curious about what romance is to you and what a relationship looks like in the terms of every day. I think I'm a romantic. I think when I was growing up, I had pictured this extravagant love where, you're always excited. There's always a sense of spontaneity. There's always excitement and love and grand gestures. And I think that as I've gotten older, I've realized that that's not what a lot of relationships are. And when you live in tandem with someone, it's actually kind of boring. There's one time with a partner that we went to Disneyland, and I love Disneyland. As like hyper consumerist as that is, like it's kind of like a hellscape of late stage capitalism. But because especially the park here where I live, it's like it's old, and it's part of the community. The people here really, there's so much history there and so much love for this place that people have been going to. It's been there 70 years now. So we went to Disney, and honestly, I didn't start having fun until him and I went separate ways. Disneyland's supposed to be the happiest place on earth, and I only had fun when I wasn't with him. Was that a bad sign? I don't know. And it's tough to say. Was that the writing on the walls? Was that we couldn't have fun together in Disneyland? I feel like the ultimate thing that I'm getting at here is that I'm somehow going to relate this back to sex, okay? We're going to get there. If there's one thing about me, we're going to bring it back. I think that even when life becomes so monotonous and so routine, when I was a teenager, I was extremely depressed. And what bummed me out was just going through the same ropes of every single day. Wake up, go to school, come home, to have dinner, do homework, same thing the next day. And this is the Sagittarius in me, or maybe it's the ADHD in me, is that I want to feel excited at all moments. I want every day to feel refreshing and different. And obviously now, like, I'm older and I realize that that's not really feasible. And I don't really know if I have an overall point, except for that when things become so mundane is when I really start to feel depressed. How do we keep it exciting? How do we make things different? I remember I read a book. I probably have it somewhere on my shelf. But the way to keep a relationship very exciting is through spontaneity and keeping things interesting. The best sex that you'll have is the ones that's like not planned. The sex that just kind of happens in the spur of the moment. We can keep things exciting by surprising one another. Further, I think that especially in this economy, the best thing that you can have in a relationship is good sex. Because not every day is going to be Disneyland, but your body is an amusement park. So good sex is free, keeps the chemistry going, keeps things exciting. And that to me is really important in a relationship. I remember there's this great podcast. I think it's called Where Do We Begin with Esther Perel. She is a French relationship counselor. There was this couple that went on the podcast. So each podcast episode is one of her sessions with her clients. And this couple, they were celibate until after they were married. And after they got married, they find out that they have no sexual chemistry whatsoever, which is crazy to me. Because, like, I feel like if you, like, I don't know, you ever dated someone who's a bad kisser? If you can't share a good kiss, then is the sex really going to be that good? I feel like you should be able to kind of pick up on that physical chemistry when you're dating someone. But besides the point, they found out that they have no chemistry whatsoever in the bedroom after they got married, unless her like caveat was they role played that he was a French man, and that was like the only thing that he could do to turn her on. God, but I don't know. I think that's make or break for me. I think like a good sexual connection is paramount. That's how you can make your day-to-day interesting in a relationship before you get, tied into the throes of just day-to-day life. I do become so depressed when everything is just the same. I think I've been feeling a little bit like sad recently because the older I get, the more I realize that the life that I've been curating isn't really the one that I had pictured for myself. And I don't want to say that because I'm manifesting and I'm bringing to fruition exactly what it is that I had envisioned. And I'm young. I'm only 26, so there's still time. Don't give up. If there's a romance or a vision that you have always dreamed of, it'll come. Just gotta give it time. I think that our visions and our dreams really, there's something to it. I can't tell you how many times I've like had a dream or even just like a passing vision. I'll have like repeated thoughts. Like I'll have like a specific thought or like a scenario that plays out in my head like a broken record, and almost it almost always ends up becoming true. It's kind of crazy. Like, even no matter how specific it is, it always comes to fruition. So, if you have a vision, just work towards it. Me trying to make this philosophical, this is just about being bored of love. What makes things exciting? I also don't think that, like, one person can be your everything. You kind of, different people serve different purposes for you. Not one person is going to fill all your cups. This is why I'm a non-monogamous, because like a different partner will serve you something different. I also want to tell you guys, I'm writing a book. Going back to like who I was 2 years ago, I was extremely depressed. I wanted to move back to where I'm from, but I just couldn't see that through. And I think it's important to be indifferent to your surroundings, even though that principally has been not at all what I've practiced. I think you should be indifferent. So I went to move back home. I couldn't see things working out for me here in California. Like, can't afford to buy a house. Job market is so competitive. So I went to move back. Giving up on living in California would have been like my greatest tragedy. So I decided to stick it out. June 2024, I was like, all right, like I got it. I can either continue to wither away in my bed and be so depressed, or I can make an effort to change it. So enrolled in classes for the fall, that coming fall, summer 2024. I lived it up. I did everything that my heart called to. Every little whim that I had, hobbies. I like started quilting. I learned how to cook French and all these. Started like dazzling shit. And at some point, I also decided I want to write a book. And that's when I realized that my entire life I've been a writer. Kept a journal since I was probably like 8 years old. Was always writing like plays and scripts and magazines when I was a kid. So I decided to do that, and I think that I had a really important story that I wanted to tell. But actually like creating the universe of a book was really difficult, still is really difficult. And again, if you read my writing, it's a lot of essays, which is like my favorite. I love writing an essay, getting my thoughts out into a few paragraphs. And I think that my essays, my body of work kind of serves as, it should be read all together if you really want to understand the ideas that I'm trying to express. But I had a story that I wanted to tell, and I wanted to put it in a fiction book, and I finally did that. The first chapter is up on Patreon. I'll probably share the first chapter where everyone can read it, because I want to introduce you to the characters and the story that I'm wanting to tell. It's a romance novel. It's kind of about a roller coaster of a relationship between two people, talking about themes of emotional unavailability, obsessive behavior, and really high stake relationships that feel like a ride. So I think it's something that a lot of people will relate to. Excited to continue developing it. I talked about this in another podcast episode that I like the idea of kind of releasing chapter by chapter, because it's something to look forward to. It's like, your favorite TV show every week. So yeah, go check that out. It's called Theory of Hunger on Patreon. And yeah, I think that's my thoughts for today. by Sluts. As a reminder, we are now on Patreon. You can find us by typing in Saint Slut. You can also text me your thoughts, your confessions at 321-376-7588. If you want to hear more of Saint Slut's thoughts, you can find me on Substack at Saint Slut Pod. I'm also on Instagram at Saint__slut. You can also find me on TikTok at Saint_slut with a V. See you next week. Bye.